Good evening, Scotland. Good evening, social media land. I hope you are well. Welcome to That Indy Show. It is Tuesday. Is it Tuesday? Is it Tuesday? It's Tuesday, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, cool. It is Tuesday. I lost track of the days. The 24th of January, 2023. We are recording tonight's live for the security and the integrity of the message and the ability to upload and share via other platforms. Okay, context setting. Do this every night. I change it weekly so it doesn't get too bored or too boring. Okay, so here we go. A pro-Indy government that has held power and won every election since 2014, a little bit earlier than that as well, is being refused under the guise of, now is not the time, it is a global pandemic, the cost of living crisis, and the Russians have invaded Ukraine. A democratic mandate to revisit the relationship with the Union in the form of an independence referendum. It is being totally denied. The Scottish Government challenges this at the Supreme Court, making them legally state that the Scotland Act 1998 says that Holyrood cannot legislate for anything that is reserved to Westminster. So it is on the legal record now as well that we are not a union of equals, because a handful of English elected MPs can hold swathe over Scottish democracy, deciding if we can or cannot even ask the question to our people, should Scotland be an independent nation? If you're in the chat just now and you think that Scotland should be an independent nation, put your thumbs up. If you don't put anything. Okay, cool. And now we have the Governor-General, ALISTER Jack, deciding for absolutely no genuine reason other than political flexing, I'm a Tory and I am flexing. Okay? Political flexing, and to make an example of Scottish democracy by preventing the GRR bill from reaching royal assent and thus becoming law. The method he used was a Section 35 order from the Scotland Act 1998. 24 years we've had devolved Parliament, and there has never been a reason to use a Section 35. However, we have never had such a right-wing and unreasonable bunch of utter anchors with a W, in power at Westminster. Perhaps they will find reason to use a Section 35 for the forthcoming legislation such as the Misogyny Bill, the Domestic Violence Bill, which is currently in consultation, and of course the Women's Health Plan. They pretty much, well, you know what, they like pretty much every piece of legislation passed in Holyrood that could technically, if the Governor-General wanted to, find a reason for it to overlap with something that is reserved, and thus a Section 35 could be used. Now, with Westminster passing laws more suited to 1930s Germany and North Korea, and also changing voting boundaries, leaving Scotland with 2 less seats in Westminster and 8 less in Wales. Isn't it about time? Hold on, I've lost my space. Isn't it about time that you consider independence to be the more practical and reasonable option for Scotland? Or are you just a closet fascist?
My name's Robert, and I have a question for you. Are you yes yet?
That was Roberto. He is in the chat right now. Robert was, I keep saying this every single night, it's important that we have this at the start of the show, simply because he was a no voter turned yes. And the little link that I'm putting down into the chat here just now is basically, oh crap, what happened there? Why did that not go on? Oh, there it is there. Is basically his interview that tells his story about his journey from no to yes. It's really important because it is a vital piece of learning and comfort as well to people that may be considering voting yes, but just need to understand that it's all right to do so. It's all right to vote yes. You don't need to put up with the Conservative Party or Westminster or the Labour Party down there. they're not making the right decisions for all the islands, let alone Scotland. So, you know something? We can't do any worse, can we? I mean, we really can't. Okay, so tonight's little showy show is about the Governor-General, Snubby McSNUBSTER. Please use that in a hashtag every time you mention Alistair Jack. Hashtag Snubby McSNUBSTER. That is probably the best one to actually use for him. He has snubbed an invitation to provide evidence at Holyrood Committee on his decision to prevent Scotland's gender reform legislation from becoming law. We all know that the UK government issued a Section 35 order to block the Gender Recognition and Reform Bill from receiving royal assent, and this has been branded a full-front attack on Scotland's democracy by the First Minister. Now, Jack said last week that it's not his job to appear before the Scottish Parliament's Equalities, Human Rights and Civil Justice Committee. He confirmed that he won't be speaking to the Equalities Committee because his job is constitutional. He's a very important man. He really is a very important man. Now remember that reason, that it is constitutional, that his job is, and that is why he cannot come and give evidence. MSPs have been told that KEMI Badenoch, the UK's Government's Women's and Equalities Minister, is the appropriate minister to invite. So guess what? She was invited. Absolutely invited. And guess what she did? Well, she declined too. Wow. It's as though they cannot face the questions and reason of a Scottish committee on the very thing that they have used to deny the people of Scotland democracy. Unfortunately, Badenoch, after missing the initial deadline to confirm her attendance, has now declined to appear because, well, it wasn't even important enough for her to actually respond effectively at all. Okay, but guess what? Guess what else? Alistair Jack has also snubbed a second invitation to the Scottish Parliament Committee, another Scottish Parliament Committee, after being invited to give evidence again on blocking the gender reform law. The Secretary of State of Scotland has said he will not attend a meeting for the Constitution, Europe and External Affairs and Culture Committee on Thursday, after being asked to give evidence on the constitutional implications of the UK government's decision to make... Hold on a second. That's okay. I just got the fright of my life there thinking that my mic wasn't on, but because it had a blue light on my phone there. Dear me, that would have just been awful. Anyway, the Secretary of Scotland has said that he will not attend a meeting on the Constitution, Europe and External Affairs and Culture Committee on Thursday after being asked to give evidence on the constitutional implications of the government's decision to use the Section 35. Crazy man. He said in a letter to convener Claire Adamson, in light of the First Minister's view on this matter, it will inevitably end up in court, and I do not believe it would be appropriate to attend at this time. Wait a minute. Hold on. Let's backtrack a bit. Did he not say that he was too important to come? His job was constitutional. Was that not his first reason? And now, okay, he's above being questioned by a mere devolved government that he is Secretary of State for. So he just doesn't want to look stupid in a court because he can't take the questioning. God. So for your information, the Secretary of State for Scotland is just the polite and more modern title of Governor-General, because obviously it's not important enough for him to come and chat to us. The Saltire has a growing Discord community. It is the perfect place to rub shoulders with other indie folk like yourself. If you want to be part of this community, send Mo a DM on his Twitter account @TheSaltireIG. Okie dokie, that is the introduction all done. Okay, let's have a wee chat, see who's in the chit chat. Aaron's here, Kimru's here, Roberto's here, Beth is here. Quiet night tonight. That's okay, I didn't get an advert up until about 8:30. So I'm quite happy to have a nice wee quiet night with you guys. Is that okay? It's a fun one tonight. I'm also really tired. It's been a hell of a day at work. Really busy and really county stock take time. And then later on I'm going to tell a story in the Discord. And Aaron will appreciate this because he too works in a retail part of the world. He'll appreciate the interaction with customers. Oh, there's Druss at the top there. I don't know if Druss is still here just now. He's on the night shift there. Cool. Right, so let's just sidetrack this for a second. Snubby McSNUBSTER, aka our good friend ALISTER Jack, has taken it upon himself that he is far more important to come and answer questions on his decision about Scotland. His decision about Scotland, you know, unbelievable. The thing that comes to my head is, who does he think he is? You know, it's mental. Who does he think he is? Okay, Nicola Sturgeon had a lot to say about this, said that Jack and Badenoch should have the guts to defend their decision in the Scottish Parliament. Joe Fitzpatrick, who's the convener of the Equalities, Human Rights and Civil Justice Committee, that's my WhatsApp going off. My son, I think, wants tucked in, but he'll just have to wait until we finish doing this. So he says, I'm bitterly disappointed that neither Secretary of State for Scotland or the Minister for Women and Equalities will be able to attend our meeting tomorrow. We'd hope to better understand the reasons for issuing a Section 35 order in relation to the Gender Recognition Reform Bill. The committee will consider, consider the next steps at the meeting. While Nicola Sturgeon said she hoped that the Tory ministers would change their minds about speaking to the committee, she added that she believes that they are reluctant to appear because they will be unable to defend their position. 1 second, please. Move up the couch.
Okay, by the way...
Move up the couch. Thank you. You can't be on the screen. Move up the couch. Thank you.
I sent you a video.
No, you can't have a conversation with me just now because I'm speaking to people. I love you very much. Okay? Good. She told the National, I take the view if you're going to outrageously and unacceptably ride roughshod through the democratically elected Scottish Parliament and seek to overturn decisions by that democratically elected Scottish Parliament has arrived at, and then you should have the guts to turn up to the committee of the democratically elected Scottish Parliament and set out your reasons for doing so and answer the questions on that. Hell yes, you should. To me, it makes no sense that they're doing this. I think they are cowards. Anyway, they're not coming to answer the questions because they are experiencing a heavy form of defecation in their underwear. Yes, the poop stains in Jack's pants must be costing him a small fortune in laundry bills. I mean, he's done this and I don't think it's been thought through properly. In all honesty, I really don't. Anyway, it's truly not about will they or won't they answer the questions. The fact that they won't is simple to understand. They bitterly accept that they have lost now. They have lost the argument for the union and will use every means possible to circumvent our democracy and keep us chained to that oar of the union ship that is actually only heading towards the worst storm possible. And it's eventually going to flounder and sink, and you have to decide, it's obvious. If you just look at what's going on, okay, to me it's highly obvious. And you have to ask yourself, do you want to go down with this sinking ship? I don't know. Okay, so I talked about Discord. We played a wee Discord jingle earlier on, and it's dead easy if you want to come and join our fledgling community. I think we have just under 40 people now. I'm only going to keep it open for 60 independence folk, and because it becomes unmanageable then and a bit crazy. We've got some really cool people there that have got great knowledge of independence. It's a good place. It's Anglo-British nationalist free. It's there to have a safe place to talk about things. It's great as well because I am branded a cult leader for having this. I think people are a little bit jealous that we've got a nice place to hang out where they can't interfere with stuff. It's just good, all right? So yeah, I have been called a cult leader because I'm very strict about how we have people coming into it, and it's dead easy. All you have to do is DM me with your Discord name on either Twitter or Instagram, and then I go and verify your social media accounts to make sure it's you. You get the invitation, you come into the welcome chat, and then we have a wee video chat to make sure that it is you. If it's not you, you get booted. Dead easy. And you know something, if you want to come and join the Discord, you would go through that because it's quite cool. Quite cool. The Saltire Cult Love. It's Kimru came up with a brilliant one, Beth, which was Discult. Yes, there it is. Discult. Boo, Discult. Right, good. So, we're only going to be talking about Alistair, Jack and Kemi today. That's all it's going to be. We'll probably only be on for about another 10-15 minutes because I'm very tired, but I needed to come on to talk about this with you guys. We need to ask a question here. What sort of people would not turn up to answer why they sidelined an entire country's democracy? They must be folk with great integrity and take social justice very seriously, yeah? I think so. Do you think so? I don't know. Well, I think we should take a look at the voting record of both Alistair Jack and Kemi Badenoch. I think that's really important to understand who they are, and then we'll decide the reasons why they've not turned up. Okay, so this is taken from a website that I don't have the link to, but I will put the link into the description of the YouTube video. Okay, I don't have it on me just now because I closed that window down, but we will put it on there. All right. So Alistair Jack, how did he vote on home affairs? Well, he generally voted for stronger enforcement of immigration rules, quelle surprise, and he almost always voted for a stricter asylum system. I kind of believe that. Okay, well, it's here. On the website, you can actually see how many times he's voted for it. So how did he vote on taxation and employment? He almost always voted against higher taxes on banks. Yeah, he didn't like the idea of banks being taxed lots. I wonder why that is. Do you think he has his fingers in the pies of a few banks? You know, I think so. He voted for a mixture of for and against raising the threshold in which people start to pay income tax, probably lowering it for the lower end workers and raising it for the higher end earners, you know. I don't know, it doesn't say on the website. He consistently voted for increasing the rate of VAT, which also has a massive effect on people like you and me when buying products. What else, Alice? How did Alistair Jack vote on social issues? Well, he has never voted on allowing marriage between two people of the same sex. He never voted on it. He abstained all the way through. Generally voted against laws to promote equality and human rights. Wow. He voted against laws to promote equality and human rights. What a guy. And he's never voted on equal gay rights either. How did he vote on constitutional reform? Well, he voted against a more proportional system for electing MPs. Wonder why he likes the first past the post system. He voted against fewer MPs in the House of Commons and voted for a mixture of for and against for more powers for local councils. It's probably powers to keep swimming pools and libraries open or close them down, and not so much any serious impacting decision-making processes for councils. He generally voted against transferring more powers to the Senate, the Welsh Parliament, and almost always voted against transferring more powers to the Scottish Parliament. Quelle surprise. Consistently voted against fixed periods between parliamentary elections and generally voted for equal number of electors per parliamentary constituency. I get that. I think that's probably the right thing to do for that one. The only one I agree with him on. And he generally voted for reducing central government funding of local government. So basically, yeah, they're going to keep all the taxation, not provide any help to the to local councils, and take it from there. And he also voted against lowering the voting age. What about environment issues? Well, he voted consistently for new high-speed rail infrastructure, and there's not enough information on the website to talk about higher taxes on plane tickets, which would probably be like a green tax on them. He voted against financial incentives for low carbon emissions and electricity generating methods. So basically, it's no real incentive for organisations to use low carbon emission electricity and generating of that said electricity. It's not very green, is he? And we don't have enough information to see his position on lower taxes on fuel for motor vehicles. And the last one on this list, he generally voted against measures to prevent climate change. He voted against that. How crazy. What a guy.
I am Mo's mum, and I have a question for you. Are you yes yet?
That is actually my mum, for real. She's been on here a couple of times now. Occasionally I get a message from her saying, "Are you going live?" But she's usually asleep at this time of night. That is the real reason I do the lives at this time of night. Don't want my mum looking over my shoulder. I'm only joking. I love her to pieces. She's a good lady. And everybody made her very welcome the night that she was on here. So thank you very much for doing that. Okay. So Alistair Jack, voting against, most of the time against such things as human rights, voting against most green policies, voting to basically to trap us in taxation things. Not a very nice guy, to be perfectly honest. Not a very nice guy. Let's see how KEMI Badenoch voted on various things. So taxation and employment. She too, like Alistair, voted for increasing the rate of VAT, which has a massive impact on people like us, because if we have more VAT, that means products cost more. Okay, which is fair enough if you can afford it. I mean, people that have more money have more choice. If you raise VAT on different things, like say just normal products, it means that we have less choice and have to go for the less expensive things, which might not be as good, you know. Voted a mixture of for and against for raising the threshold at which people start to pay income tax. Again, that's exactly the same as Alistair, so it's probably we have to pay more and the rich have to pay less. Okay. She almost always voted against higher taxes on guess which industry? The banks. That's right. And consistently voted for more restrictive regulations on trade union activity. Wow. KEMI Badenoch is a nice person. No, she's not. I was talking rubbish there. So, what else have we got here? She consistently voted for restricting the scope of legal aid. That is quite interesting. So, if you get into trouble, you're not going to be able to get any help in getting a lawyer, according to KEMI, restricting the scope of legal aid. And she voted for capping civil service redundancy payments. So you could be in the civil service for 30 years, but you could be capped for payments at only worth 10 years or something. Great, huh? What about environmental issues? Generally voted for the new high-speed rail infrastructure, voted against financial incentives for low-carbon emission electricity generating methods, just like Snubby McSNUBSTER, and generally voted against measures for preventing climate change, just like Alistair. They're like two peas in a shitty little pod. On health, she voted for reforming the NHS so GPs can buy services on behalf of their patients. There was a bit of a study about that sort of thing before, which basically meant that they would have to buy these services from private medical companies. Funny that. What about Home Affairs? Generally voted for stronger enforcement of immigration rules and stricter asylum system, just like Snubby McSNUBSTER. And how did she vote on welfare and benefits? For and against, a mixture for and against, depending on what it was. And spending on welfare benefits, generally voted for against paying higher benefits over longer periods for those unable to work due to illness or disability. So yeah, we're going to force you back to work. But KEMI will force you back to work if you're not capable of doing so. Crazy. And voted for raising welfare benefits, at least in line with prices. That's nice of her. Really nice. Wow, what a great lady. KEMI Badenoch also voted in the business and economy. How did she vote for those things? Mixture of for and against measures to reduce tax avoidance. I wonder if it was like for small businesses to not be able to avoid tax easily, and for her rich buddies to be able to get away with it. She voted for the new high-speed rail infrastructure, and she consistently voted for stronger tax incentives for companies to invest in assets. Now, that's actually quite a good one, because if you have if you have tax incentives for people to invest more in assets and things, that's pretty good. But it depends on the assets, of course. Is it Tory funding assets things? I don't know. And she consistently voted against the rate of corporation tax, reducing the rate of corporation tax. On social issues, she has voted against laws to promote equality and human rights, just like the Jackster, and has never voted on equal gay rights, and has never voted on allowing marriage between two people of the same sex. On constitutional reform, just like Jack, she is voted against more powers for the Welsh Parliament, and generally voted against as well the Scottish Parliament getting more powers. Quelle surprise there. And we don't have enough information on her position on greater restrictions on campaigning by third parties such as charities and elections. That didn't even come up in Alister's one. She voted against fewer MPs in the House of Commons, and consistently voted against fixed periods between parliamentary terms. Generally voted for reducing central government funding to local councils as well. So that is it. These two people that snubbed the Scottish Parliament and able to just avoid coming and answering the questions on what's it called, the 35 thing, my brain's mince. Yeah, so they are not, what's it called, they are not coming, and they are not nice people. They might think that what they're voting for is alright, but the things that jump out is, for both of them, is they've constantly voted against human rights, constantly voted against helping people. You know, they've never voted, they've abstained on being involved in gay rights and gay marriage, which I think people should take a stand on. You know, everybody, my whole philosophy is, you know, let's just take it straightforward here. If you do no harm to people, you're cool. Treat others how you want to be treated. That's kind of the bottom line for it all, in my opinion. And this whole thing about Section 35, the fact that they think that they're better than us, I really get that vibe from their voting thing, that they're not really for people. And so I'm not surprised that they don't want to come up. And it is going to end up in court, and it's pretty shabby that it will. It's a waste of money. I mean, I just think it's political flexing. I really, really do. Let's have a check in the old... But yeah, I'm actually going to make a video specifically about this, like a wee 5-minute thing just to put on YouTube. I think it's important that we have a wee talk about this with more structure rather than me rambling like that. But it's a bit frustrating, the whole thing, to be perfectly honest. But that's kind of where we're going to be. It's just a quick half-hour show because we are on stock take week where I work. But I will go across to Discord and hang out with you for about a half hour till midnight or so if anybody wants to come across, which will be cool. I will check my 2 social media accounts to see if anybody from here tonight wants to come over, and we'll get you in over the next 24 hours too. But long and short of it all, we have our Secretary of State for Scotland not wanting to come and speak to us about a decision that he's made that circumvents our democracy. So regardless of his voting record and regardless of KEMI's voting record and her inability to even dignify us with a response within time, the Section 35 speaks volumes, especially considering that there's not actually sincere and honest overlapping circles into reserved matters. And that's kind of crazy. Right, gonna go. So we will be hitting on the old end button in a second. But if anybody's on here that's in Discord, come across the Discord. Hi, bye Beth. I will speak to you later. You have a good sleep, because I need to be in sleeping by about midnight as well, which is good. But let's free up now. Just for a bit of fun, okay. The end credits, the very last scene. I'm actually in it with my son and my daughter. Okay, so let's see if you can find it. Okay, good night now, and I'll see you in Discord if you're coming to hang out.